Why Gen Z is burned out. Before even entering the workforce, for years, Gen Z has been labeled as lazy, entitled, and unwilling to work. You've seen the headlines, you've heard the debates, but is that really the full story? The truth is, Gen Z isn't rejecting work, they're rejecting a broken system. An outdated education system, rising costs, and burnout culture have made traditional career paths feel unsustainable. So, is Gen Z really lazy? Or are they just redefining success in a way that actually makes sense for them? Let's break it all down. For years, older generations have criticized Gen Z for being lazy, entitled, and unwilling to work. Viral clips circulate of young people quitting jobs, rejecting traditional careers, and pursuing alternative lifestyles. But the reality is far more complex. Gen Z isn't simply rejecting work. They are questioning a system that seems fundamentally broken. From an outdated education system to crushing student debt and an unsustainable work culture, many young people feel burned out before they even start their careers. One of the biggest factors contributing to this burnout is the education system, which has failed to prepare Gen Z for real-world challenges. Traditional schooling prioritizes memorization over critical thinking, standardized tests over creativity, and rigid schedules over adaptability. Despite spending years in the classroom, many Gen Z students graduate feeling ill-equipped for adulthood. In fact, 44% of Gen Z believe their education did not provide them with the necessary skills for real-world success, and only 37% feel adequately prepared for today's technology-driven job market. The disconnect between academic learning and practical skills leaves many young people feeling frustrated and unprepared. The college debt crisis has only worsened these concerns. For decades, millennials were told that earning a degree would guarantee financial security. However, skyrocketing tuition costs have made higher education an increasingly risky investment. Since 1980, college tuition has risen by 260%, and the average Gen Z graduate now carries over $30,000 in student loan debt. Meanwhile, wages have not kept pace, and many young professionals find themselves struggling to make ends meet despite their qualifications. As a result, a growing number of Gen Z individuals are opting out of the traditional college path, instead seeking alternative ways to build careers through online courses, freelancing, entrepreneurship, or social media. Even when Gen Z enters the workforce, they often find themselves at odds with outdated work structures. The traditional 40-hour work week was designed for the industrial revolution, yet modern workplaces continue to follow the same rigid schedules despite technological advancements. Gen Z has watched millennials hustle for degrees, take on multiple jobs, and still struggle to afford housing. They have seen their parents work for decades in jobs they dislike, only to delay retirement. This exposure to financial instability and dissatisfaction has led many young workers to redefine what success looks like. But here's the catch. When Gen Z does enter the workforce, they get labeled as lazy for not playing by the old rules. Let's talk about work culture. The 40-hour work week was created in the Industrial Revolution, but Gen Z grew up watching people burn out, live paycheck to paycheck, and still struggle. They saw millennials hustle, get multiple degrees, and still not afford a house. They watched their parents hate their jobs and refuse to retire, so why would they want the same thing? Gen Z isn't lazy, they're disillusioned. They're not unmotivated. They're rethinking what success actually means. And maybe they're onto something. So what happens next? Will the workforce adapt to Gen Z's values, offering remote work, work-life balance, and better wages? Or will we keep blaming young people for not wanting to struggle needlessly? The truth is, Gen Z isn't lazy. They're just not willing to work under outdated rules that don't serve them. Rather than prioritizing job security at the expense of personal well-being, Gen Z seeks careers that offer flexibility, work-life balance, and fair wages. They are not rejecting work itself. They are rejecting a system that does not serve them. As a result, employers are faced with a critical choice: adapt to the changing expectations of younger workers or continue losing talent to burnout and disengagement. As this generational shift unfolds, an important question arises. Is Gen Z truly lazy, or are they leading a work revolution? The answer may determine the future of work itself. Take a moment to reflect. When you hear quiet quitting or see young professionals prioritizing work-life balance, what's your first reaction? Do you find yourself bristling at what seems like entitlement, or recognizing a necessary correction to decades of burnout culture? Consider your own relationship with work. If you had entered the workforce during a global pandemic, witnessed economic instability, and grown up with unprecedented technological change, how might that shape your perspective on career and success? The debate about Gen Z's work ethic isn't just about one generation. It's about a fundamental reimagining of what we value in our professional lives and how we define productivity itself. Rather than dismissing new approaches to work as laziness, perhaps we should ask what these shifts reveal about the sustainability of our traditional working models. To baby boomers, how have you seen the definition of a strong work ethic evolve since you entered the workforce? And does today's emphasis on work-life balance challenge the career principles that drove your success? To Generation X, as the latchkey generation that pioneered independence and adaptability, what do you make of Gen Z's push for more structured support and transparency in the workplace? Does it resonate with changes you wished for in your early career? To millennials, having straddled both the traditional and digital workplace, weathered the 2008 recession, and now managing Gen Z employees, how do you reconcile your own experiences of paying dues with the newer workplace demands for immediate purpose and flexibility? To Generation Z, in a world where job security seems increasingly rare and career paths less linear, what does success look like to you? Beyond salary and titles, what workplace values are non-negotiable for your generation? The future of work isn't just being written by one generation. It's an ongoing dialogue between experience and innovation, tradition and transformation. Share your perspective. What generational workplace wisdom would you pass on, and what new approaches do you think deserve a closer look?